As you grow your business, the more eyes you'll get, the more you need to think about your security. Let me ask you something. Are you vulnerable? Protecting your data is extremely important. Don't be fooled by Instagram. The internet can still be a scary space. At the current moment, the dark web accounts for 5% of the total internet, and all hell can break loose without the right framework to keep your company data protected. That's why today's episode is brought to you by NordVPN. What's VPN stand for? It stands for Virtual Private Network, a service that encrypts your internet traffic and protects your online identity. With a VPN, you can securely access apps, websites, and entertainment from anywhere in the world. Picture a virtual force field around your computer. NordVPN is one of the best VPNs in the market. If you're looking for a peace of mind when you're at home on a private network, this is for you. Also, is that messaging app blocked in your region? That awesome TV show unavailable in the country you live in? Change your IP location and enjoy the internet with no borders. Y'all know the Canadian struggle. Trust me, it's real. Right now, you have an offer of up to 68% off NordVPN. Yes, 68%. Hit the link in our podcast show notes for the offer. It does expire soon, so claim it quickly. Now, let's get back into the show. Hey.
Yo.
Don't focus on you. Focus on what you can give others. You feel me?
I feel you. It's about giving.
It's about giving. It's about being of value.
Exactly.
You know? Let's get it, bro. You ready to start?
Ready, man. Let's
You ready
get
to
it.
pod?
Saturday morning, fresh cup of coffee, potting season,
Oh, facts. Hello and welcome to the Hustle Over Everything podcast. This is the podcast where we receive stories, tips, and strategies from entrepreneurs who've done it to grow your business and take yourself to the next level as a person. Later today on the podcast, we have John Vuong. He is the founder and owner of a local SEO search. He's been in the business for 13 years, and he's committed to helping small to medium-sized businesses increase their online presence and equip themselves with tools to flourish. I'm excited about this one, man. I really love his story. So we're going to get into it, man.
He is a grinder. You get me, bro.
100%.
He's what you call the Canadian dream. You can put it. When we think about the big American dream, we always think about someone who, they came from another country, they amassed a huge fortune or some sort of fortune, and that's the American dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, it doesn't have to be like that. Sometimes it just has to be, you came in here, you came with your parents, you start from the ground up, you went to school, you got yourself started up, and you started a business, and now you're flourishing, you have a family, you live well, you have a house, with the circumstances you had, you made something out of yourself. And that, to me, is what the Canadian dream is. It's what's achievable to the masses.
That's a fact. I love his story, man. Don't give too much, fam. Don't give too much.
Oh, right. But just a little peek what you're about to get.
Facts. So yeah, man, John's story is really inspiring. So I can't wait to share that with y'all. Man, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, bro. I actually just came back from submitting my first and last rent to move out of Casimir, bro.
Hey,
Clap that.
I appreciate you,
man.
I appreciate that. Pardon me.
Yo, this is 7 years in the making, bruv.
7 years.
7 years at Casimir, Casimir Street. It's been a long journey, bro. Getting this new space, it's been a culmination of patience. Kind of like how Masai got Kawhi to Toronto. You're building up all these years, and when the time comes, you gotta act quick. times like these Corona prices for spaces don't come very often. So when you're blessed with a low price on a space, you've got to act quick. So honestly, bro, I wasn't even intending to move out when I came back from Sarnia. I was just chilling. I was like, I was like, man, I need to like do whatever. I need to look. I needed to change. I was not gonna go into 27 as a 27-year-old guy in the same spot with the type of dreams and aspirations I have. And I stopped and looked around and what I had. And I also got to give credit to like my friend, my roommate Simba, my friend Logan. We always talk about this stuff, because I'm like paying cheap rent here, but like they're like, man, there's more to that. I was like, man, I gotta save money. I gotta save money. But eventually, man, you need a change of environment to really replenish your thinking, to really recycle your surroundings, your what you see, because that can actually elevate you to the next level. And I kind of started feeling that. I started feeling a little bit of stagnation in my thinking. My flow was there, but my ideas were not really getting to the next level, right? Because I needed a change of mental diet in what I was seeing. So acted on it, moving out next week. I'm very excited, but I am going to miss this place, man. It shaped me to the man I am.
Where do you think your mind was stagnating?
I think, you know, I feel like when you get in the same flow of habit, for example, I mean, I've been here, I've concocted a lot of great ideas from this my room here, like where I share with the guys, but I feel like whenever I try to reach for more, I did not feel as if like I could achieve it because my what I was seeing was not really proving what was in my mind, right? So what I needed to do was I needed to take massive action to really elevate myself into a new realm of thinking and be in that and operate on that level where I can see other ideas. But when I was here, I think I just exhausted everything that was out of me, where I just could not feel any different. Like I had gotten to where I reached the peak of where this position could be. I needed a change to really open up a new environment. Like, being here, seeing the same thing every time. I was like, man, if I had gone to a different neighborhood, met different people, been in different areas, like beside the water, you get inspired, you get inspiration. But if you see the same thing over and over, you're not really learning anything new. You're not really, and if you're not even traveling, you're just in the same spot. Like, how are you going to get better? How are you going to get to the next level? So that's how I was feeling.
Got you, got you, got you. Well, now you out that shit, man.
Yeah.
I gotta say bye to the roommates.
Bye to the roomies, man. Bye to, I'm like, I'm like the Tim Duncan of this joint, bro. Yeah.
Don't kill me. Wearing baggy pants to the game.
Yeah, man. Like just like a Casimir legend, bro. I built this program up. This is like kind of graduating from college to the league. My landlord, brought me in as a young pup, and raised me up, became a man. Now I'm ready to take that next jump to the MBA of living situations.
Got you. Got you. You've been there your whole career. Now it's time to move. Feel me?
Time to sign that max deal, man.
Word. You bringing the talents to South Beach?
South Beach, to waterfront beach.
You feel me?
Waterfront Toronto.
I feel you, fam.
Yeah, man. How about you, bro?
How am I
going
doing?
With you, man?
Oh man, I'm good. Bro. Oh, I didn't tell you. I had a paint night with my girl the other day.
The missus.
That was fun. We ended up painting. Here go one of the paintings right here.
That's you?
Which one do you actually here? Hold this. I'll show you real quick.
I haven't know. That looked really nice, man. All right. So
which one do you like better? Number one right here. All right. So right now, for the audience, I'm showing all pictures of the paintings. Mm-hmm. Number one right here, or number two right here.
Let me see number one again.
Number one right here. I feel like an eye doctor. Which one's better, number one or number two?
I like number one.
Number one.
Mm-hmm. Number one, I love the woman. She has like it's very Afrocentric. Then left one reminds me of being in Kenya, the Maasai.
Okay.
The Maasai have their ears like that. I don't know if those are earrings or those are her ears, but It's very Messiah-ish, but the one on your left,
Left. Yeah, you feel
this is
me?
like a very African queen, lovely woman type of vibes.
True, true, true.
I
All
love
right,
the
so
left.
oh my girl won that one.
Oh, she did, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
They're both great pieces. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you did work. You did work too, bro. But I just like Kristen's better.
All right, all right. So yeah, man, that's what was going on with me. You know, I took some time to visit the moms in the dirty Schwa in Oshawa.
Oshawa.
And yeah, I just came back home, touchdown, make myself some good dinner. So I'm right here, ready to roll. You know, but yeah, big news, man. It's 50.
This is the 50th episode of the Hustle Over Everything podcast, bro.
It's 50.
How do you feel, man? The 50th.
I feel good. I feel good. You know, I can't feel it as much because I haven't been here for the full 50 to keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? So this is more of a you question than a me question. I feel good about reaching 50 though. Same way, I'm still reaching a solid number.
Yeah.
And I think this is like reaching the finals. Not reaching the finals. I'd say like reaching the finals. Like 100 would be winning a championship. You know. Or getting a ring, whereas the finals is all right, we got here, you know, we can celebrate of getting here, but all right, now gotta lock in, you know. That's the kind of feeling.
I totally know what you mean, bro. Getting to 50, just for people listening, getting to 50 episodes of a podcast, that is really, really hard.
Facts.
It's you know, people think, oh, 50 episodes, that's you know how hard to get to 50 is. It's like, you got to get people, you got to record it, you got to edit it, you got to promote it, time in every single week, day in, day out, day in, day out. So to get to 50, it's a big accomplishment, because one of the things that make a podcast successful is consistency, right? You promise your audience you're going to drop it on a particular day, on a particular time, and you have to keep that promise forever until you tell them, hey, we're discontinuing the podcast. So I feel very happy, very excited, and very proud, bro. I think that's the feeling. I'm very proud of us. I'm proud of sticking to the podcasting platform for this long, and I do it for the love of it. I do it because I'm curious. I'm excited to learn from other people. So it doesn't even feel like it was hard work at all, man.
Facts. 50 is tough. 50 it signifies consistency. It signifies what's different about it is that we're a guest-based show as well. We do a lot of guests. So it makes it a little bit tougher because we consistently have to reach out to people and curate the podcast around each guest versus just creating a regular show and just being, all right, we just show up and talk. You know, that's like way different. If we did that, it would have been so much more different versus just having guests and having a theme and having research, you know, for each podcast. So it makes a big difference, man. And I'm proud of us for reaching that goal, you know. So now it's road to 100.
Road to 100, man. So 100 episodes will be, man, I don't think we'll be able to touch 100 next year. Actually, no, we will, because we know 52 weeks. So we'll probably reach it by November next year.
Yep. 100 by next year. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward. You got to make it big for 100.
Big.
Bro. Yeah. And for our listeners, you know, we have a giveaway that's about to drop for the 50th episode. It should already be live by the time you hear this. But make sure you follow us on Instagram at 247hustler so you can get all the details for our giveaway. We're going to be giving away some great prizes to our audience, you know, just to say thank you for supporting us and rocking with us for 50 episodes. So make sure you lock in on that.
Man, and also just think about the next 50 episodes. You know, for listeners, we made a Power 100 list. So the Power 100, these are people who we dream. These are people who we want to interview, big guests, the Kevin Harts, the Elon Musks, Tyler Perry's, Issa Rae's, Shark Tank, Damon John, Kevin O'Leary, all these the titans of the industry, you've got to think high to rise, bro. You got to be sure of yourself before you can win the prize, bro. So we're dreaming big, man. And I'm so curious to know who. I feel like we'll get a big Power 100 guest over the next 50 episodes, bro. I have faith.
For sure. Without a doubt. I definitely think we'll get it. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of time. I remember I used to watch this YouTuber. I forget his name, man. Spoken Reason. He used to say faith, consistency, and hard work.
Yeah.
Before he went off the rocker and started being weird. But yeah, man. I honestly believe that faith, consistency, and hard work, and we'll get there for sure. So, with that being said, anything you want to add before we hop into the business tip of the week?
No, man. I'm just I'm excited for the next 50 episodes, man.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. All right, let's get into the business tip of the week. So because it's our 50th episode, I'd like to do a quick recap of some of the best guest tips we've had in the past. Just as a quick thank you to the past guests we've had on the podcast, man. Coming up to 50, it's a milestone, and I'm happy we've done it. So what I want to talk about is from our first episode with Andrea Henry. Well, more so our episode with Andrea Henry, is including a force majeure clause in our contracts. Man, that was a big tip. I've never really heard of force majeure till that point. I don't know if it's common knowledge. Do you think it's common knowledge?
It's common knowledge in big organizations. Like, I mean, I learned the term from the movie Force Majeure.
Okay.
There's a movie called Force Majeure, but the NBA, when it came into mainstream, was like when COVID happened, right? Because they're like, man, there's no way we can play these games, but we got to pay these contracts, right? So the only way you can get that out of it is a force majeure. Then I searched out force majeure. Then we had Andrea Henry a week later. Then she said force majeure. So I'm like, man, this force majeure thing is actually pretty common. I didn't even know about it, but I knew the term, but I just did not have the mental capacity to go deep and search it.
Got you. Yeah. I was completely agreeing to it. And that made a strong difference. Not on all the contracts I'm doing is, gotta have that in there,
man. Yeah.
Gotta have that in there for sure. Moving on to episode 32, Pierre Leguier. That was a great episode. If you haven't listened to the episode, make sure you go back and check it out. Pierre Leguier talks a lot about volume in this podcast. And it was a key element for him getting back on his feet from being injured and just getting his business back going. He spoke to how he created a business out of thin air using window washing, and the power of volume allowed him to get back on his feet. And I never really thought about the power of volume in that kind of way. I usually think of, hey, let's charge X and charge Y, and make a profit off of that, versus just saying, all right, let's look to have a lot of volume and have a smaller margin and make a big profit off of the volume. Never really thought about that. I don't think a lot of entrepreneurs do nowadays. We usually think about stuff in quite like this, kind of like how I think about it. Of get a retainer, get a subscription fee, or or charge a client for promotion, sponsor, creation, or recurring revenue, and like a back end type of flow as well. So there's nothing really like people look at in terms of volume in that sense. In the predominant amount of our modern day interviews and a lot of the businesses that we kind of look up to. So it's good to see that on a regular guest, So
man, Pierre's blowing up too. After the pod, like he's skyrocketed to a different stratosphere, man.
For sure. He became the first black man to get the cap of publicly raised funds, which is amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know, Republic, I think he spoke about it briefly on the podcast, about Republic. You can use it. It's a public platform that you can use to raise money. And he raised the max amount. Incredible,
So inspiring, man. So inspiring. Just his whole story. And then you add that after, the podcast, what's happened, just it's the cherry on top.
Yeah. All right. Moving right along, we got Christina Griwa. That podcast was interesting. she really delved deep into what makes a good website. And even though I've made websites, a lot of websites, and she even schooled me on some stuff that I was like, okay, I could use this, I could use that. I definitely suggest going into that podcast and diving deep into some of the tips she used, have a pen and paper out, ready to roll. One thing that she said that actually stuck out to me was that I didn't realize was the about page. I know it sounds super general, but I took it for granted in my business, and I've taken it for granted in other people's websites as well. Is the about page. The about page is one of the most sought after pages when people go to a website because they're curious of who the business is. So you can leverage that to actually give your pitch of yourself and pitch the business. So that's one thing I want to regurgitate or reach out to the audience, because I think that's super important. And a lot of people take it for granted. Moving right along, Paulina Reed, episode 49, our last episode. One thing she said was make yourself premium. I actually never thought about that. I usually just have an overall fee when it comes to my agency. So I was like interested in the way she actually made herself premium, and that working with the rest of her team was a different fee. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I never usually do that. So that's one thing to think about, guys, when it comes to working within your business, whether you're a photographer or creative. All right, I'm a premium, and I have team members where you have a specific fee for that. Go ahead.
When you make yourself premium too, it's actually easier to run your business when you're a premium business because you charge more, so more bulk revenue over the year, and you have less clients to deal with, meaning you can actually execute the best work that you can, and those clients actually go tell more people about you. So you have an internal referral business, meaning you're gonna lower your costs over time because your costs are super low because you don't gotta do volume where your expenses increasing over time. If you have like 6, 7, 8 clients, your costs are low, your revenues are high, meaning your margins are higher, and then the internal referral business lowers your marketing costs.
What do you mean by internal referral?
So like, let's say you're my client and I just charge you for a 50K job, right? So you'll refer me to most likely another 50K client, right? Meaning I don't got to advertise to get a 50K client. You know what I'm saying? So with me, I'm just kind of thinking if I get a 50K client, a couple times a year, I don't got to do too much advertising because I can bank on at least getting 3 referrals out of the people I've worked with. And then also retaining those clients are way easier because you do great work for them. So it's not like very transactional. These are like people you have relationships with, meaning you can actually build a sustainable business over time. Because if I'm paying you 50K, I don't want to go pay 50K to someone else again and again and again. You get me? So that's the way I see it.
Got you. All right. I hear that. Awesome. So number 5, I made it 5 for 50, is Vivian K. Shout out to Vivian.
Viv. You know when J. Cole was like, you don't see me disappear like the old and Viv.
Yeah. J. Cole has like some of the best Fresh Prince lines. Low key.
Yeah. Low key, man.
Low key. Shout out to J. Cole. All right. On Viv was invest in your QA. And I think the part of it was the depth she went investing in the QA. A lot of people think that they'll just, order 1 or 2 things off Alibaba and call it a day. But she went in depth about how she bought other people's products and really saw the difference between it and started washing her products, washing her wigs to make it different and find that differentiating quality from the heavy QA. So yeah, I think that was a big point that not a lot of people do. Like, even if you're in the service business, like, are you actually going on people's services and seeing, hey, what are they doing versus me? How can I improve my product, my service, versus what the competition has? And digging deeper into what the audience wants versus what you think they want. So that's the top 5. So just to recap, number 1 is Andrea Henry. Include a force majeure clause in your contracts. Number 2, episode 32 from Pierre, is look at what volume opportunities are available. Number 3 from Christina Guerra, your about page go deep into that page to give people the most context that they can have. Number 4, Paulina Reed, make yourself premium. Number 5, Vivian K, invest in QA, and it will be worth its weight in gold. Lastly, I guess a bonus version, number 6, it's from O'Shane Howard. Shout out O'Shane. And one thing he mentioned in his podcast, number 29, is a consistency in image. When you're consistent with your branding, when you're consistent with the image you create, other brands want to work with you for that specific image. Usually, as a creative, I like to just create new things consistently, But when you have like that consistent feel and aesthetic in your pieces that you bring out, brands want to work with you for that specific image. So you're not surprising them. And I guess the process a lot more seamless that way. So I guess a bonus tip as well. So that wraps up the business tip of the week.
For the 50th episode, brother.
For the 50th. It's 50.
God, 50, man. Damn, that flew by, bro. That flew by, man. Guys, you know what time it is. It's Mr. Hustle Muscle over here, ready to give you that Hustle Nation tip of the week. And that message of the week actually just came to me recently when it just dawned on me. And it was actually such a profound realization when I realized this. And what I wanted to do with my message today is actually very personal. I've been living in the same spot for the past 6 years. It's been a basement apartment right on Dundas and Bathurst. And I've been here over the years. A lot of memories have been made here. A lot of thoughts, a lot of dreams, a lot of ideas have been hatched at this very table that I'm recording this podcast right now. I've had a lot of great memories, a lot of sad times. This place has seen the thick and thins of everything. I mean, I remember early on when I first moved in here, it was a struggle just because I had no job. I had nothing. I had left Ryerson and, my parents weren't talking to me. So I had no income and I just had some savings and, I just had some runway to carry me on through. And my dream ever since high school has been to get my own condo by myself, my own spot, and I look outside of the balcony or the glass window and I can see the CN Tower. And everything has always been to work towards this. I mean, this has been my first goal ever, once I don't know what it was, but just to do it on my own, working on my business, having my own place, having that autonomy and having that place I can call home that looks really nice, modern appliances, floor to ceiling windows, looking over the city or the lake, and also being young at the same time. This was my ideal thing that I wanted to do as I was young in my mid 20s. And as I get older, having, a big house, a mansion, being successful, being a multimillionaire, living somewhere in Toronto, in the rich neighborhoods, Rosedale, Bridle Path, Lawrence Park, whatever you want to call it. But that is what I aspire to, and also live in other places in the world. So now, it's crazy. I had these thoughts in high school back when I was in Sarnia. I used to say Toronto is this thing that is, man, this is like if I was going to make it, I got to make it in Toronto first. So I came to school here, Ryerson, graduated, did my thing, started a couple of businesses that didn't work out. And now, Alex and I building Uplift Media Group, which is the media house that hosts this podcast and as well as several other ventures, which is built to propel and inspire entrepreneurs with the right tools and content to really have success in their business. So my goal has been to get this house, get this spot, and lo and behold, it's happened. And I thought that by, when it happens, that I'll have this amazing happiness, just this amazing feeling of happiness that's going to be sustained over a long period of time. And I knew this wasn't the thing, but I was hoping that it would take me to another level of happiness. And I just want to start off by saying this, that I'm a very happy person, extremely happy. If you personally know me, I'm always happy. I'm very content with everything I have. with who I am, where I'm going with my life, and what my purpose is on life. And I know that the fact that I figured that out, that I'll be okay, and that makes me happy. The things that make me happy are just having my family, my dad, mom, my sisters, my brother, my cousins, aunties, my grandparents, everybody, and all my friends and acquaintances that I know. And as well, working on this podcast and business every single day brings me, you know, happiness that, I can't even, describe how much happiness this is. I can't quantify it. So I accomplished this goal of getting my own spot exactly how I imagined it. I mean, for the past couple of years, I've acted, I've walked, talked, and just conducted myself in all my affairs as if I was that person that I aspire to be, having that space, having your own place, having this amazing view of the city. And I made it happen, you know. Uh, I don't know how I made it happen, but as one of my favorite philosophers and you know leaders in in thought leaders and improvement, Neville Goddard had a book, called The Power of Awareness, and not Power of Awareness, but in the book he had a chapter called Mental Diets, and one of the things that he always says is imaginal acts turn and harden into fact. So I was always imagining that I had this space, I had this amazing life of successful young entrepreneur living the life in Toronto. And yeah, it's come. I'm successful. I've accomplished a lot of great things over the years, won a lot of awards, built great businesses, and now building great businesses. We're doing really well. And, coming back from starting Toronto, I didn't even know I was going to get a place. But, the fact that market prices are so low, it just happened. So I thought I was going to get happy when I finally accomplished this. So when I finally got the deal done with the place, it just dawned on me that everything I had imagined, the look, the feel, the interior, the aesthetic of the place I wanted, the type of Eames chair I was going to get, it's happened. And I was so happy, so excited, but at the same time, it lasted it was so short lived that now I'm just sitting here like, damn, I'm back to the regular Owen, back to the regular me, who I am. And I love who I am, but you think this thing is going to take you to another base level of happiness. And that is not true at all. And as entrepreneurs, we always feel as if the next level of success is going to make us happy. We get a car, we get a brand new house, we achieve a certain revenue mark in our business, we travel to a certain area. One thing I realized, man, you can do anything you want. You can get the best clothes, you can get the best car, you can get that Rolls Royce, that apartment, that house, whatever it is. But then it just it's a change in lifestyle, but you don't actually change. And I knew this inherently. And, even though I've accomplished a lot of things, big awards, and I got it down, I'm like, damn, like, that's it. Now what's next? It's because I lived in that moment for so long that the moment that I attained it, it felt like I had already done it in my head. This is just it materializing into the real world. And it still doesn't bring you that next level of happiness. So to cut the story short, what I want to say is whatever it is that you aspire to do and you're doing it to attain certain things and you think that's going to make you happy, I can really tell you right now that it's not really going to make you happy, or take you to that next level of happiness if you feel like it's going to take you to that next level of happiness. You got to find out things that do make you happy, that you can wake up every morning, you can go to bed every single night and just count your prayers that you do have that, and no one can take that from you. This could be a place to stay, to sleep, food on the table, clothes on your back, money in your wallet, friends you can call anytime to have your back, having a job, having a business that you love working on every single day. These things bring you eternal happiness that no one can take that away from you. But the material possessions, the things that come and go, they will make you feel good, but they will not change a thing. And I really wanted to share this with everybody, because not that the fact that I was not happy and I was chasing this dream of living in a space that I can look over the city, but the fact that I thought about it for so long that was my ideal that I wanted, and I got it done at the right timeline that I anticipated it, and it's come and gone. And this is my new life, but I'm still the same happiness I always was, the baseline of happiness. If I thought my baseline of happiness was gonna go from, like, let's say, from an 8 to a 9, I'll tell you right now, like, it was 9, but that 9 just quickly came back to 8. But the things that's gonna make me happy is the 8 going to a 10 of me accomplishing my purpose of really galvanizing and educating as many entrepreneurs in the world to really go out and build the dreams, the business of their dreams. That's why we started Uplift Media Group. Is we really want to build a digital media company with a lot of brands that creates content that pushes people to the next level. And the fact that we can impact a lot of individuals throughout the world, that will make me so happy, just because it's more about legacy over currency. And that's what it's all about. I do want my goals of living in a nice house, living everything and doing everything that I got to do. But I know now that those things will come and pass. But the things I do really care about are what matters most, which is the definite of purpose. So that's what you got to worry about, is your definite of purpose in life. What is that? What is it going to do for you? And why is that? What's that one thing that's going to make you happy every single day that no one can take that away from you? A house can be taken away from you. A car can be taken away from you. Any material possession you have comes and goes. It depreciates over time or appreciates over time, but it doesn't mean that's going to make you happy. So take that in, take this message today. What's that thing that's going to make you happy? And just remember, material things, whatever it is, that's going to signify the ideal that you are, who you are. It can be an apartment. Like, I thought, like, man, I want to live this dream life as an entrepreneur, building a great business and having a place downtown. Hey, it might work for you. It might not work for me, but I just know for a fact that idealistic moments of certain things and possessions that you expect to bring you a certain level of happiness, to take to that next level, I personally think that it's not going to do that. And this is maybe the 4th thing that I've done, that I've wanted and I've gotten it done, and it didn't happen. And it's been awards, it's businesses, recognition, accolades, all chased it, got it done, wrote them down, look back at these goals I wrote down in my book 10 years ago. I'm like, damn, I got that done. I got this done. I got that done. I thought it was going to make me feel like this, but I'm the same Owen back to work after it's done. And you're like, damn, like, all right, what's really going to make you happy? And that's when I really had to hone down and really make sure my definite purpose is to really bring people up through my words, the content we create, the platforms we create, and the community we build. Man, that's what's going to make me happy. So guys, remember, it's all about legacy over currency. Still get the things that you want, but don't expect those things to make you happy. Choose things that make you happy forever. And always remember, your impact is going to be remembered forever. Your money's going to come and go, but the way people remember you, that's going to leave a lasting imprint in their heart and in their minds. And that is the Hustle Nation tip of the week.
How you feel?
Feel great, bro. 50, drop that thing. Now we go to 51, man.
Let's go. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hop into our housekeeping items and straight into the pod.
All right. See you there.
Hey guys, before we hop into the podcast, we have a few housekeeping announcements. For free to support the podcast, if you're on Apple, make sure you rate and write a review about our podcast. This makes a huge difference. On Instagram, make sure to take a screenshot and tag us in Instagram stories. It makes a huge difference. It helps us share the podcast out and expand the community. On Twitter, we're at 24/7 Hustlers. And on Facebook, we're Hustle Over Everything. Guys, we were busting our ass, especially Owen, working on their weekly newsletter. It's called the 24/7 Hustle. It covers news in business, music, and culture, all through the lens of entrepreneurship. And for our paid options, guys, we have some great merch on the store. Check it out at hustleovereverything.co. And lastly, our Proud to Pay program is linked in the description down below. Now let's hop into the show.
Putting money in your pockets. So, and especially like LeBron, man, like, my God, it was just so disappointing. And you know, like everyone owes Kyrie an apology. Everyone owes Kyrie an apology because Kyrie was doing this in the beginning where he got like, he took all the bullets for the athletes. Like, Kyrie's crazy and whatever.
Yeah, that's what happens though when you have a fresh idea. You know, change is disrupting. You know, and people don't like change for that very reason.
Yeah.
You know? So when you bring these fresh ideas around, Colin Kaepernick got completely blackballed. Now 4 years later, on that day, you know, people are actually boycotting their league. So, you know, this is how the new ideas come and how they form. You know, like if you think about it historically, new ideas, a person brings along a new idea usually gets chastised. It's either like complete chastisation, which is definitely where it's made up, or like praise. It's never like in between, really. You know?
Yeah.
So
totally.
Without a doubt, man. But John, welcome to the show. How you
Thanks
doing?
a lot, Alex. I'm good, man. I'm excited. I just finished dinner, so I was like, all right, I got to make this happen. I'm like energy. I'm ready, man.
You know, once you're well fed, once you got some food in your tummy, bro, like I think it's easier to have a conversation. Because like when I'm hungry and I'm trying to have a convo, I can't make it through.
Can't concentrate, man.
Yeah,
no, I totally get it, man.
Like my friend yesterday was like, "Yo, let me call you right now in the morning." I'm like, "Bro, I need coffee. I need a little croissant
I need some sugar.
Exactly. You know, don't give me logistics and everything in the morning when I haven't gotten my bearings yet.
Yeah. I need to energize, man.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. So starting things off, man, I have an icebreaker for you.
Okay.
Yes, man. So you visit your mom, right?
Pardon?
You visit your mom, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And your mom says, "Hey, John, I have a client for you." And I don't know about you, but when my mom says I have a client for you, my like red flag meters already start just like flashing all over. But
you know, it's like a freebie or something like that.
I have
major
no idea.
Discount. Yeah,
exactly. I just have no idea, you know. So yeah, your mom says she has a client for you, and you're like, "Huh, okay, tell me more." You start listening, and it sounds decent. And I'm like, "All right, let's set up a discovery call." Right? Set up the discovery call, and the client's actually a fit, but he has, you can tell that there's a ton of scope creep. You know, you can tell that, well, for the audience, scope creep is when a client is looking at every scope of work, like to the literally creeping the scope of work. You feel me? So, yeah, you get that vibe from him, but you recognize this is your mom's referral, right? You don't want to come home on Thanksgiving and say, "Hey, how was that guy?" And you're like, "Oh, nah," you know, and you know he was a good fit as well. Owen, John, what do you guys do?
For me personally, if it was family and it was a strong recommendation, or even friends, I would help out wherever I can, right? And probably not even take any money, right? Give advice, give free services, consultation. But it all depends on if you have the resources and manpower and where you're at with your business, right? So I'm at a different stage of my business where I am a giver. I want to help out. So if people are coming to me seeking advice or help, I'm going to do what I can to help them, support them, give them advice. And hopefully that will make them improve their business in any way, right? So that's what I would do. Even though they're, you know, like you mentioned, they're very detailed oriented. Fine. If they want my advice, this is my process, right? Let them in on how you run your business. Don't let them dictate how you run your business. And if they want to compare other service vendors and other offerings, for sure, do that. And let them know how you run your business differently. And these are the processes in play, right? Because early days, that's what happened. I got so many referrals from clients, but I didn't really go through the same vetting process. And I you know, I had to fire them early days because they were like very micromanagement, right? They were really calling you daily, and they were not a good fit for my kind of ideal type of tribe and customer.
Most definitely. Oh, and what you got?
It's such a sticky situation just because it has family involved. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And when I know someone like, let's say, like my mom or whatever, she's someone who's gonna be like, if I ask her for something, she's gonna be like, "Oh, yo, now you want me to do something for you?" Like when I had a friend, whatever, that da 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 da. Like, you know, she can be like that. But for the respect of social ties and what it can do, especially like family, like especially if you do a great job for family, they tell everybody. That's what I found, especially like in my community, like the way I grew up. Like I see the aunties talking, they're like chopping it up about, oh, this is the best place to get veggies, or to the best butchers and everything like that. Oh, go to that market, and it's like 12 women in that room. Then they go tell all the 12 women, and etc. So I'll bite the bullet. I'll finish the project, do a great job of it, but I know I'm not doing it just for that one project. I'm doing it for the next potential 10, 12, 15 projects that might come out of it. And when I have that, I'm actually going to go through the whole process or whatever, because now I don't have like someone like close to me doing it. It's just a referral or whatever. So I have 12 potential referrals, and I can actually read and do a sequential process to see if they're a good fit or not. But I need to fill out that funnel down as much as I can, but I'll just sacrifice that wherever that client is and just be patient. I find I'm a patient person, and just go through the due diligence, get it done, and just wait till those referrals come in, because they will talk, especially if they know like a family member of mine.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all are both really nice people, man.
Yeah. Business is all about being nice, you know.
Well, it's all relationship building, right?
Relationships, exactly.
It's all about like being honorable, true to yourself. And if you want to be respected in your industry or as a person or a human, like you gotta stand up, right? And bite the bullet. Early day was all about reputation, right? It's all about, and you continually want to strive for success, right? Under promise, over deliver. Sorry. All the time, right? Because the word gets out there, right? It's especially family. And then of course, even in the industry, if you do good work, people know about it, right? And those clients of yours will be the biggest advocate. Like they're salespeople for you.
Yeah.
100%. Nothing really rings as true as an honest referral. Without a doubt. Me personally, I would take your route and really distill the needs of that client, you know, really dig deep into what their past problems are. Because usually when you sense scope creep, that means that it's because of something, right? So addressing that at that moment, I think is a very important thing for people to do, and kind of dig down into it. Because for one, previously I had a one client meeting, and I could tell that he had a lot of scope creep and was a bit anxious. So I was like, "Have you worked with the agency before?" He was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How did it go?" And I already knew from when he said yeah that it was a horrible experience, you know. So being able to catch that and address it and say, "Hey, all right, you had a bad experience before, but it's like a restaurant. When you go to a bad restaurant, do you stop going to restaurants? No. You go to another restaurant and just don't go back to that restaurant. You know, same thing with the agency, you know, and really just digging deep into their mindset so they don't actually think that all these guys are bad, all of us are bad, and really try to develop that relationship, you know? So yeah, that's kind of my take on it, is trying to get into the emotional psyche of that person and why they even have that first. And then just like John says, you know, show them my workflow. So then I'm dictating the actual flow of things, not just him being my dictator.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very fortunate to have done a lot of sales training. I had 7 weeks at Yellow Pages of sales training. And one of the most important aspects of it is not just rejection handling, but fact finding, which is all you do during the initial sales call is uncover all their needs and what went wrong with all the open-ended questions, right? Their budget, what's their time frame like? What's their real why, passion? Why are they doing? What's their unique selling prop? What's their highest margin ticket item? Like what differentiates themselves? Everything, right? What are the previous vendors, suppliers, all that? Then you have a whole document of everything you need to know about them. Then you can come back with solutions for and then you cater towards every single thing that they mention to make you look good, right? So it all, and this is learned, right, from experience. And we've been like, I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands of business owners, and it's all the same process all the time, right? And every business owner loves talking about themselves. So if you trigger them to open up, you're going to have a whole whirlwind of like notes.
Yeah. You know, Yellow Pages is a big part of your career. But, you know, before we hop into that, you know, like we just want to like get to know you a little bit more so people understand your background. If you could really like describe who you are, you know, where you came from, like your background and
Definitely
coming into Canada and what really got you started in your business career.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll go back. I'm originally from Hamilton, Ontario. That's where I was born. My parents left the Vietnam War, not knowing the language, Canadian, like English, right? And they're Vietnamese boat people. We came here. I was the fourth of 4 children. So I was the one that, you know, was born here. Everyone else was born in Vietnam. And this was back in 1980. So right now I'm 40. And when I was growing up, we were government housing. We were lower income. And a lot of the neighbors, like I was living in an apartment building, and a lot of them were also immigrants or new to Canada or lower income tier, right? So growing up, all I knew was family and my community, which is the friends at the park or at the community center or at the school, right? We didn't have a car. We didn't go on any trips. Like the only trip we did go to was CNE because my parents got free tickets once a year, right? So growing up, I mean, that's all I knew. So I thought that was normal, right? Which is we had each other. One thing I do really recall and remember and will always cherish is my parents always had food on the table and we always had dinner together as a family, right? Every night. And that was one thing that really bonded us as a family, right? And then when I finished school, even when I was young, like I played a lot of basketball, I played a lot of sports, and you know, my dream was always going to a Raptors game because I watch it on TV, right? And eventually now I'm a big Raptors fan, but I also worked a lot when I was 9 years old, newspaper to support and help out with family, right? Food and shelter and stuff. And then over the course of like high school, middle school, I was working and I probably had like 30 plus jobs from factory work, restaurant, waiter, you name it, lawn care, sales, you name it, everything, right? Just to survive, right? And see what's a good fit, how people actually perceive you, make some extra money so that you have decent clothes when you go out socially with friends. So when I finished high school, I went to Western, which is London, Ontario. I did my business finance degree there and, you know, finished school. But again, I was kind of an outsider again. Everyone who went to university had their own car. Their parents kind of helped them out a little bit. I was government assistant, OSAP, and I was working, right? To really just make ends meet. So it's a little bit different when you kind of don't have much growing up and you always want to aspire to have your own stuff, right? So eventually I wanted a car, I wanted a home, I wanted to have things that everyone usually expected or had growing up, but I've never had, right? So when I finished school, my first job was really advertising sales, and it was at a company called Red Pages. It was a knockoff of Yellow Pages, but it was the first directory going to every single business at home, but of websites. And this was the day before internet existed. Well, Google kind of didn't take off yet. Computers were fairly slow and the internet was really slow. It was still dial-up and P3, P2. It took 5 minutes to boot up a computer. So imagine the speed, right? And therefore the directory was a great concept and idea. So I went out and sold it, right? Because I believed in it. I was like, look, Yellow Pages. And if Yellow Pages was around for 100 years, this is a great concept and idea. So I could really believe it to go out and sell ad space with the idea of business owners actually wanting to advertise and get good business from it, right? Because internet, I didn't know technology would advance so quickly, right? So kind of Google took off and replaced what now is Yellow Pages, right? So my background was sales and advertising. I did some affiliate online marketing and I worked at Yellow Pages for 5 years. So I learned a ton from just real life business owners. And that's how I started this agency that I have right now.
So did you, I don't want to get too much ahead, but did you just like leave or the Yellow Pages? Like what was the transition like?
So before I left, I was waiting to get a package. I didn't get a package, so I just gave my resignation. But I was there for 5 years, but the last 2 years, every meeting that I went to, and as you can, Google kind of was the place to be, right? Like users were, the behavior of customers who were looking for business owners were no longer going to the Yellow Pages directory. So whoever was spending ads at the Yellow Pages were either disappointed, spending too much and not getting good ROI, return on investment. So what was happening was every meeting I had was a battle with the business owners, right? I was a true believer of Yellow Pages because, I was representing them, but the honesty from business owners was very transparent, right? They were just saying, spending more than ever, getting less leads than ever. And I needed to figure out where people were going. And I knew people were moving towards digital. And me being a younger, person, I was going on Google myself, right? Like it was not rocket science. It's faster, real time, easy to use. And therefore I knew there was a need there. There was a gap, right? And if there were other agencies, of course, out there, but my expertise was sales and marketing. And I knew there was a batch of clientele that needed to pivot and move away from traditional ads to now digital. And I wanted to mold that to my own company. So early days, I didn't approach my old clients yet. I wanted to see if I had like what it took to sell it first off, and then actually get good results, right? So before I, went to some of my old clients, first thing I did was, again, I bootstrapped everything. So I left Yellow Pages. It was a decent, high-paying job. Like I was doing fairly well.
How much you talking? Like 6 figures?
Yeah, 6 figures. I left that.
Yeah.
And then I actually was, President's Gold Circle. I was going on the trips. I was doing fairly well there, right?
Yeah, I also read that you were top 2% sales in the company as well too, eh?
Yeah, so if there were 2,000 reps, if you think about it, there's a small amount that would go to these trips, right? And I got to meet really good, skilled sales reps, veterans in the industry, 10, 20, 30 years of sales experience, right? And that's what I took from that company more than anything, the process and the people and the relationships I built from clients I met daily, right? And then, so when I left, first thing I did was, again, it was situational. It was timely because I recently got married. I had to purchase a home with my wife, and I left Yellow Pages, right? A decent job. So I had to figure out what I wanted to do. I was either going to go back to work mode, work for another company and do what I was doing for many years, or try something different, right? And my wife was fully supportive of me. And I think that was the biggest thing, right? She had a stable income.
That's big.
Gunshot.
That's
Shout out to the wife. How you know that? So
support. Damn.
So you left your job and bought a house.
Yes.
And your wife was like, all right, I support you same way.
Go start a business.
Well, because, she saw like I was not someone that wasn't hardworking, right? She saw something in me, obviously, to go pursue something, right? And passionate. Like you can either get a decent job and continue it, or you take a risk, right? And you don't know what's going to happen, but you're there for you or not. And we didn't have kids then, right? So for me, it was like, I got to now prove myself to show not just my wife, but everyone that thought I was crazy to leave a job, right? That was decent.
Yeah.
So, for me, my thing was I bootstrapped everything at the beginning. Since at the beginning, I didn't have a laptop or a computer. I pretty much had my phone, right? Smartphone at that time. And I went to business owners because I was sales, like 10 plus years and some good, sales skills, right, behind me. People believed me. They trusted me. And I basically went in with my phone and said, look, here on Google, here's your major competitors. Would you like to be on that first page? Give me a couple $1,000 up front, and I'm going to work on that campaign for you. Right? So I went out there and sold. And I kept selling. And when I got like 10 clients or so, I now had to figure out how the hell I'm going to get them ranking, because I had no SEO knowledge and experience, right? No tech background. All I had was sales and marketing. So now my reputation was aligned, right? So now I had to figure out how to rank them. And therefore, that was the hardest thing, right? To figure that out. So I was very, gung-ho on learning, right? I'm always reading and listening, and all throughout my sales journey, I was listening to Zig Ziglar's, Brian Tracy's, every tape in terms of sales, right? Dan Kennedy. It's all about like the best leaders in sales. And I was also learning from people in the industry, like at Yellow Pages and my peers, right? And I wanted to be the best, right? Or one of the best, and make sure that I feel confident enough to sell anything, right? So now I had to feel confident to sell SEO and then deliver on it. So I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but now I had to figure out what I needed to do to rank a website. So that was hard, right? Because it was like a lot of reading, a lot of blogs, a lot of videos, and a lot of mistakes. And it took me years upon years to understand what really matters, what really moves the needles, and a lot of testing and a lot of mistakes from trial and error, and a lot of, I was fortunate to be honest with all my new clients and let them in on my price point's lower because I'm new. But in a couple of years, my price point will be double or triple. Are you in? Right? That was my pitch.
Yeah.
Right? Which is true, because I had a commitment to myself to make sure I delivered on my promise. Right? So.
And how big is your business now? And the second question is, what kind of businesses do you work with? What scale of level are these businesses at?
So right now we have 20 plus staff, and we're a full service agency, right? So we work with professional service type businesses, like the dentists, the lawyers, the plumbers, trades, professionals, because I realized what we're all about. We do a really good job for service-based type industries versus product-based, right? And we really focus on regional, localized, because we want to help them dominate. And usually business owners in a local community, all they care about is serving their local community anyways. Once they have enough exposure and enough customers, they're happy, right? And if I'm able to attract more of them, of their ideal tribe locally, because that's who their radius is anyways, that's all they care about, right? And it's enough for them to survive and make an impact. So I kind of refine my system process and learn by making a lot of mistakes. And right now we not only service clients in Canada, but US, Australia, and UK. So we're, getting some exposure, and we want to do good, right? Like I've been very fortunate and honest, but very transparent throughout the entire process, right? So I've been running this SEO agency for 7 years, and we're a full service agency. We don't just specialize on content or conversion copy or, funnels. We do everything from reputation management, link building, development work. on page and off page, you name it, anything to do with SEO, that's what we do.
Amazing.
All right, so let's get into SEO, where we can really dive deep and give a lot of value to our audience.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some misconceptions of SEO?
Yeah, everyone thinks SEO is, gonna make you the millions of dollars because you're on the first page of Google. My first thing I tell people is usually I work with businesses that actually know how to run a business in the first place, because I cannot help them, even though I rank them well, run a really good business. That means, how do you handle your phone calls? What's your intake? What's your process like? And do you take care of your customers to the same level of, like you and me, right? Mm-hmm. You need to understand how to run a business. Service level, product, what's your competitive analysis, unique selling proposition, what's your reviews and reputation like all those other fundamental things need to be in order before I help any company. And people think, I'm a new business, I know how to run a business, and once I rank, it's gonna be game over for everyone else. Good luck, right? It takes years to understand how to run a good business. So that's the first misconception. SEO can help you elevate your real business, but not replace a business owner that doesn't know how to run a business, if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense.
Totally makes sense. It's such a big gem, man. Oh man, I have friends that come to me a lot, and it's like, yo, get me on Facebook, give me ads, let's get that traffic going. And we said, get your business right first. What's your business plan like? Get your foot in the door of running your business first before you come to anybody to pay for ads. You know what I'm saying? Because thing is too is that I've worked with clients as well where you give them the traffic and then they drop the ball. So yeah, that's such a good point, man.
So another thing I want to mention, so regarding that point, if people know how to run a business, they've been in it for 1-3 years, they already have a profile of their ideal customer, right? That persona, that avatar. Once you have that avatar, that's paying customer, by the way, someone that you want to attract more of, profile them, get to really know them, sit down for coffee and ask them a bunch of questions. Understand all their likes, dislikes, personality, traits, everything, profile them. That's your avatar that you want to attract more of. Until you know that avatar, it's very difficult to run any form of ad campaign, SEO campaign, digital marketing, or even print traditional marketing, because you don't know where to advertise, who to advertise to, and who do you want to attract.
1,000%. You should be able to write a page out of their diary.
Exactly.
Something like that. Now, for this business, right, that's been in business 1 to 2 years, what would you say are some of the things they can start with getting their SEO correct?
So SEO, there's a lot of factors, right? My suggestion is build a website, but personalize it, make it your own, and let people in on your story, right? Because say a dentist or a lawyer, there's hundreds, if not thousands of them. And we live in Toronto, so you know the hyper-competitive nature of it. So what makes you unique? You have your own story. Let people in on it. Your About Us, your homepage. What makes you unique enough for them to even read what you have to offer and then convert to actual lead, right? So you need something compelling, but I would say even micro niche it so that people, you don't want to go after a broad range of everyone. You just need to get good quality, your tribe type of people, right? And then keep producing your content, but compelling content, in-depth, well-researched, positioning yourself as a leader and expert. So you need to know what the heck your service is or product is, right? Or else why would someone want to pay for your service, right? Or product. So you need to at least position yourself as an expert. So keep producing and keep unique, like personalized as much as possible, and make sure your website is functional, right? Like think about you going to a website. What do you look at? Maybe nice images, fast load speed, secure website, things that you expect today. should be expected on your website as well?
A lot of people talk about keyword research, right?
Yes.
And this is also like my personal like side of things. I also want to pick your brain at is when you're doing keyword research, you're stuck in just what your business is. So for example, let's say it's hustle over everything. We'll know like, okay, hustle, stories, entrepreneurship, but there's also like an element of depth. You just don't want to go wider, right? Someone might say hustle something, but what people are actually typing is hustlers stories, right? You got to like find these words that people are actually searching for in that same realm. What is the method of actually going deeper in your keyword research to actually get the most out of your SEO?
Keyword research is very pivotal during the early stages of building a new website or SEO campaign. First off, you need to obviously know what you're trying to dominate for as a service or product offering, right? Okay. Then you probably need to know who your major competitors are and do some analysis on what keywords they're ranking for and what their service and products are. And then there's a lot of tools and software. This is where tools and softwares actually make sense to utilize, right? So we use keywordtool.io. It's a paid tool. There's also a lot of different tools. SEMrush has tools. Google AdWord Planner has tools. Google Trends has tools. Even when you type in the auto suggest, right, on Google, there's different keywords that you can use, right? So all these are good tools. The challenge is how much volume do they actually get, right? How many of these keywords actually get some traffic to make a difference? Because you don't want to write like a 2,000 word blog when only 5 people a year are searching for that term, right? So you need to ensure that you're embedding variation, semantic keywords, different ways to get a variety of that term that you're trying to dominate for so that you hit as many people and you cast a bigger net to prospects, if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Definitely.
Also, use incognito tab when you're doing that. Just for the listeners, if you're trying to like do a little keyword research, always put in the incognito tab, whether it be YouTube or Google, so then their algorithm is acting fresh and not just specific to you, right?
Yeah, so cater towards your personalization, right? So there's a lot of cookies, and Google is storing every transaction, behavior, keyword that you're searching, and every result will be catered towards your previous search results, right?
Yeah. How long does it take for your website to be recognized as a trustworthy website by Google?
So authority is something that we always work on for an SEO campaign. And ultimately, that's what you're after, right? Being the trusted source so that your users will eventually click on your site, right? So what everyone trusts is Google's first page because they believe Google vetted all these websites to then have you on that first page. So you have to understand what your users are really wanting in terms of content and position yourself as that trusted resource. So I've seen clients rank for, hyper competitive or non-competitive keywords in months, but I also seen them rank in years, right? Depending on how competitive the landscape is, right? So dentist in Toronto is hyper competitive, right? So if you're a brand new website and another dentist has been doing SEO for 10 years, what's the chance that you're going to rank within a couple months, if not even a year or two, right? Unless you have a huge amount of budget. But even when that is the case, it's all natural traffic too. You need to ensure that everything you're doing is in the realm of what all your major competitors have done to get to where they are, right? Because any peaks and valleys or anything that's out of whack, Google recognize it and think it's spamish, right? And you don't want to be flagged from Google because that's where you want to be ultimately.
100%. So then in that case, right, let's say I'm a dentist, I like this dentist example, and I want to start ranking. Let's say I opened up a new dentist practitioner or practice, and I'm like, all right, ready to roll. Would the first thing be to buy ads then and have a PPC campaign, seeing that you haven't done the work to rank? What would your suggestion be there?
So I'm a true believer of SEO only. That's why I focus on SEO. However, it all depends, right? Like if you're a brand new office, you don't even know that avatar, right, of your ideal customer.
Okay.
So you may want to play with ads on Facebook, Instagram, Google to start getting leads to see which keywords rank and type of profile that you're attracting. But for SEO, my take would be hyper localized, go after long tail keywords so that you get traffic and results with a high conversion rate before you go after broader term keywords that are more competitive. So go after the low hanging fruit, get some conversion so that you feel like there's momentum where you're paying for a campaign and you're getting results before you go heavier, right? If that makes sense.
The Q also like break down long tail keywords and broad keywords just for context, so people actually understand. Yeah.
So for instance, a long tail keyword would be teeth cleaning in Rosedale, Toronto.
Okay.
Right? So that's 4 or 5 characters versus Toronto dentist, broad term, right? Everyone's going after that broad term keyword, but if you go after a service within your dentist realm, it's a lot easier to rank, less competition, and you're hyper localized. So it's a lot easier, right?
Okay. Got it. Got you.
Got you. All right. So then just to play that out, you'd rank, like you said, Rosedale, dentist. And even that, though, with the competition, it could still be super competitive. I guess your thing would be to have like 1,000 keywords of different, actually, my apologies, a long list of long tail keywords, then try to play on each long tail keyword and just have different like articles for those long tail keywords. Is that what you're saying? Maybe I missed it.
So for instance, we mentioned teeth cleaning, Rosedale, Toronto, right? Yeah. So anything related to that specific teeth cleaning keyword, you want all the variations within teeth cleaning, right? And then put it in one blog or article or service page. And that would allow you to at least get recognized as someone that actually offers teeth cleaning and does it really well in a local community, or even a neighborhood, like an intersection, because as you know, dentists, there could be 5 dentists in Young and Egg, or even 20, right? Like,
so exactly. You
have to like hyper localize, right? In big markets like Toronto. But if you're in a smaller market like Sarnia, for instance, like there might be only 5 dentists, right? So you can go after a whole city.
Got it. Gotcha. So now, why would you use Instagram and Facebook ads? Tell me about like your thinking there. Is it for the avatar building?
Yeah. So when you're starting off and you don't know that ideal customer, right? And maybe you don't even have much brand awareness yet, I would say play with ads, right? And I always tell people, whatever medium works, continue doing it. Just make sure you're tracking everything and making sure that not just leads, but quality of leads. And then lifetime value of the customer, right? Because not just that acquiring that new customer, it's the lifetime value. How many of those customers were referred from that customer you got from that lead that you got, right? So there's so much more to it. And I learned this at Yellow Pages, right? Like it's all about cost per acquisition, cost per lead, cost per sale, but it's the lifetime value as well.
Get into like citation building. Like, citation building is something that you do. What is it, and how can people start implementing citation building in their websites?
So citation building is a pretty straightforward submitting your information, NAP information, into directories. And it's free, and usually it's a no-follow link. So you don't get much juice coming from these citations. However, it's a signal from Google to recognize that you're legitimate. So the more places you put your information, the better it is for Google to recognize that you're an actual business. So a citation is, say, Yellow Pages or Yelp or Facebook, and you submit your business information on those directories. And it's usually free, unless you're doing a paid ad there on those directories. That's where you pay, right? Like there's no need to pay if it's just a free listing. So that's where citation building is. Like you can have hundreds of citations for your business, right? And maybe you may get 1 or 2 referral traffic from those other directories who are seeking dentists out, right? Or your service or product out in the local community.
Interesting. So now, one thing I want to talk about as well is meta descriptions. I hear this all the time, and everyone talks about meta descriptions. When I was first building my blog, everyone was saying, you gotta get your meta descriptions right, gotta get your images right, your alt text. Can you break down what that is for our audience and how they can leverage that to drive more traffic to their websites?
Yeah, so meta tagging is, it's easier for Google to recognize what's on that page, right? If you have a WordPress site, usually it's a free plugin. You can download Yoast or all-in-one SEO. And it gives you a step-by-step, here is how many characters you have for your title tags, right? Here is how many characters for your description, and make sure each landing page that you're optimizing for title, description, alt image tag, H1 tags, or whatever it is, it's relevant to the service or product that you're offering, and it's relevant for the user. So it's easy for them to recognize, because ultimately when you're on that first page of Google, that's the title tag and that's the description that appears, right? And you're trying to get your users to click on your website as opposed to the 10 or 15 other listings on that first page. So it's all about always trying to convert with a call to action, right? Get people who is searching and matching that query that someone's typing in. It's usually a question. It matches one of the queries on that first page, and hopefully it's yours. So usually it's an exact match or as close to, so that when they click on it, hopefully they convert afterwards, right? Because usually people will go on 3 to 5 websites, and they'll either like or don't like you. And hopefully out of the 3 or 5, they're going to fill out the form or call you.
Got it. So now, let's have a random question, actually, because I was wanting to play with your brain, I guess. And feel free to chime in as well, bro. If you got $1,000 just to start a business, and you had to invest it in an e-commerce website, right? Or should I say you're starting an e-commerce website, and you had $1,000 for marketing, how would you maneuver that $1,000?
First off, you need a website. So Wix or Shopify, build a site. So that's maybe $100, right? And then ads, right? Because you don't know, unless you have a list already of prospects, right? You can do an email funnel campaign. You can try to attract based on, I would actually go out and give away my product. If I had $1,000, I would do $1,000 giveaway on all your products, right? Give it to an influencer and just offer it for free. With that, some of the stuff that you're gifting out, then you would then put a like marketing piece or like posts on social to let people in on how they reacted, like testimonials or case studies. Because once you gift it, hopefully they will give you a case study or testimonial, right? That's a third party review. And that's how I would scale and grow business. Because the more you give, you're not expecting anything in return, but it's karma, right? Eventually something will come back in return.
Yeah, like $1,000 to drop on a business. I mean, I'll also let me challenge that, John, right? For example, before Alex joined on Hustle Over Everything, I started a Shopify website, dropped the money on it, went into ads, right? Really promoting the website, the merchandise that actually went into it. And Alex, I used to have a conversation with him, like, we'll go out for breakfast and I'll be like, hey, bro, like, listen, this is the situation I'm in. This is the predicament that I'm in. I'm spending money on ads, promoting the website. People are coming on the website. They're not converting. Like, and this time we're selling like the Hustle Over Everything branded merchandise and et cetera. But it never happened. And one of the debates that I've also had with myself is like building the audience and as well spending money on ads like right away. It's like, so you're advising like it's okay to throw money at a cold audience first, or
I would say give it away to influencers in hopes that they will amplify your message. Because if they love your product, they're going to wear it and post it. And they could have thousands of people that have money that will buy it because they're like, I love what he has on. And he looks good on it, and he says it's a great product, boom, that's where I'm going to buy my next product, right? It's all about influencers, especially for a product play, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really service related, and that's why I do SEO. But with products, I mean, I have a social media manager that grew her audience to like 250,000 or 500,000 followers, right? So she knows her stuff. And that's where I get my advice from. If someone that knows their stuff, right? From Kickstarter to Bootstrap to growing to 7-figure business, right? Like someone that actually knows what they're doing.
Okay.
That's interesting. I mean, we had Yara on the podcast, and she was saying that she started off with ads as well, but she was wasting money a lot at first and kind of got the foot in the door. And she started on Kickstarter first, So I think Kickstarter is a very interesting way to go about it as well. But one thing we talked about between Owen and I was having ads as the tip of the iceberg, but then having like a deeper iceberg. You know that picture of the iceberg and the little tip above water, and then there's that big ass glacier below water.
Yeah.
Not my advice was to more so focus on the glacier under the water, and focus on developing an audience through real connections, through this podcast, through we were going to do events at the time because that was before Rona hit, and really developing that one-to-one connection, because when business, the first 100 sales is like hand-to-hand transactions. It's not this like throwing up an ad and being like, hey, this is me, and then everyone just happens to fall in, unless it's an influencer, because that's not really as one-to-one. It's still it's a different game. Get what I'm saying? So yeah, that was kind of like the tip I had. So hopefully that could provide some knowledge to the audience. So
yeah, and the thing with the influencer play too, it's like there's also businesses which are like not influenceable products. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's like maybe it's like a one product store, and there's like, what influencer are you really like gonna really go after to get that? It's like you have to really dig down deep. So it's a hard position to be in as a new business. You have this product, you want to sell it. Influencer marketing right now is the play to go, but it's also presenting a challenge to those people who might not. It's like you can't really influence a iPhone case business. I mean, you could, but maybe that's not a great example. But there's other businesses which are like very basic, very standard, and finding the right influencers with the right pull, they might not be existing to really go for that. So that's where like I really want to find like solutions that people can also take on to really get that transactions going.
So with and this is business, right? And where all your products and ideas may never take off. And some of them will be, you've tried it, you spent it, and it's not a success. So you have to move on with that and veto it and go on to the next venture, right? Because what happens is you cannot get stuck. If you're like, think about it, if you're bleeding tens of thousands of dollars a month, right? How long can you survive, right? Ultimately, it's all about like sustainability and make sure that this is a viable business. And what I mean by that is just like what I talk about, like, do you run a good, profitable business, right? Like, and when you do, that's where SEO can really elevate you. So it's the same thing with a product play. If you know that there's some traction, there's the first 100 perfect clients of yours going to share it to 5 or 10 of their best friends, right? That's where you have momentum and you see something going on, right? But if you don't even get traction for 10 clients and it took you a year to get there, right? How much time and effort do you want to continue investing in it if there's not a lot of movement? You see what I mean? Like, your time could be best suited to try something different, right? Because again, it's time and money. And there's a lot of business ideas out there, but not all of them actually come to fruition. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's sometimes best to realize, well, I already gave it 6 months or a year. I've already spent tens of thousands of dollars. How much more time? And give it a hard cap. This is my goal. If I don't hit it in the next 3-6 months, let's go move on to something else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I was just kind of thinking like the person who's like, okay, the product can sell. It's not influenceable. It's something people need. They're a brand new business with no customers. Like, how do they get started? with like online marketing and etc. But I understand where you're coming from, though.
Yeah, like those kind of businesses, it's all a brand play and you need heavy pockets, right? Because usually product play is either a brand play or it's a commodity where it's price only, price sensitive. So you need to move volume and you need to spend a lot of money, get in front of more people, right? So there's two plays. You either build a brand and a story behind it and people want to buy it as, they truly believe and respect that brand, right? Versus a commodity and it's just price.
With Google, I find that, both of us, we both have agencies, we're both somewhat at the mercy of Google and Facebook, when it comes to updates. How do you approach that? Because I can bet you've probably gone through, at this point, a bevy of updates, and Google's decided, hey, today we're doing this, and your business has now been flipped upside down. How have you been able to adapt to that?
So staying on top of the industry, understanding what they're really after, and think about the root of why Google exists, right? They're trying to fulfill the users and give the best result, right? So you need to fit all their check marks. And as long as you focus on running a good business and delivering good content for your customers and not Google, you're in good hands, right? So take care of your customers and everything else will follow. There's always hacks. There's always fast ways, and people are always selling that on social, right? Like make $100,000 in a week or in a month, right? By following this, and then they sell you a course. Well, really, if it worked, why are you selling a course in the first place, right? Yeah. So, it's all about like understanding what goes on running a business. And if you understand Google's business and how it works and understand how you play in their realm, right? You may have to play with some of their ads, fine, right? But ultimately, if you want to understand how their SEO works, like organic natural listings, run a really good business, have an awesome website, have a product or service that people really need, right? Like all these things are all traditional fundamental things that people forget, and they think fast ways will always get them there, and change everything, right? That's not reality, man.
I hear you. I like to pivot now and get into running an agency, so one thing you said in the beginning was getting clients in and having to fulfill that and not knowing what the hell to do. What happened there? Like, let's go deeper into that.
Yeah, so my background, sales and marketing. So I went out and sold. I had to first hire a lot of people and learn from them, right? Because they were more skilled than myself, because I went to hire, SEO people, right? Because for me to learn it would be like a nightmare, because I have no tech background. Like I have no coding, no understanding of how anything in the back end works. But then I would mimic and see what they were actually doing, follow them, you know what I mean? Like video conference, and see what goes on behind the scenes and how their thought process goes to really make the modification. And then I would continually read to best practice blogs, videos, podcasts, like just learn as much as possible. So that's what I was doing, right? To understand. And then even the terminology was challenging, right? Like early days, it was all about like, just what the heck does a link really mean? What does a trust flow really mean? What does domain authority, page authority really mean, right? Like all these things, I had no idea, right? Until you really get the entire process of it all, right? So it takes time, right? Like anything, and you just need to be vested in it. Right. And I was fully vested because it was my baby. It was like my name on the line, my brand, and I was working crazy hours, but I wanted to ensure that it worked.
Most definitely. So you get your first 10 clients, and you said that you charge like a short amount. So I was like in like the early thousands, I'm guessing. I mean, low thousands, I'm guessing, for your first few clients. And your first move was to hire people, right? Yeah. Did you hire them fast? What were the first hires? And like, yeah, tell us about that. Like, how did hiring people like in the quick instance go for you? Did you have to fire people quickly? Like, How'd that
Yeah.
work?
So hiring at the beginning, I used sites like Upwork and Freelancer, and just when you put a posting out there, it's a global thing, right? Everyone's applying. And so this is a new process for me. I've never hired anyone in my life, right? So going through resumes, trying to vet them, and then having interviews, right? To see which one's actually real or not, because a lot of them are just saying what you want to hear,
Yeah.
right? And you don't know what you don't know because you're not there. You're not living that. Like, I have no clue about the skill set because I've never even done any of the work, right? So it's trusting your instincts. And I made a lot of mistakes early days. So hiring and firing, I learned, right? And I pivoted. I made mistakes, and I eventually found some good people, and I relied on them to help me grow because they ran agencies before and they understood how to get good customers in this industry, like staff, right? So just being curious and understanding like how to hire was very critical for me to scale.
You mentioned now you have like 22 people on your team, right? 22 is like a big number. That's a big roster for your team. Are they all like remote? Are they people like, let's say pre-pandemic, you guys were in an office together, or are these people who you hired who are remote, perhaps through like Fiverr, Upwork, and now they're actually, okay, you know what, I'm full-time on your business on local.
So I've always hired full time, and I did run offices, but I found that it was more of an overhead, right? And I can hire more staff and equip them with fast internet or software and run as efficiently because they save time on commute. So it takes a specific person to be home based, right? And they have to understand the social aspect of not working in the office. So those were requirements I had early days while vetting employees, right? What's their background like? What's their, kind of work environment like? And what do they want to see in this position? Because this is how we operate. Are you comfortable? Right? So understanding that and being very straight up with them about everything, right? And that's what we do right now. Everyone's remote. Everyone's equipped with all the software needed, all the tools, equipment, and that's what we've been doing, right? So pre-pandemic, everyone's already been doing home base. Even when I was working at Yellow Pages, yes, I did work in the office for 1 or 2 years, and then I moved away and worked at home. So I was really comfortable working at home, right? And therefore, I already had some experience doing it. So running an agency at home was a lot more easier for me. So there was not that learning curve.
Most definitely.
So like for those 22, like give us examples of like titles of like what would make like your the people who you hire like in an agency. Like what are some specific positions that you hired for?
I had everything from sales, account managers, social media, developers, SEO consultants, link builders, graphic designers, you name it, man. Everything to do with SEO I have right now, right?
Okay.
And they're all home-based and they're experts within the domain of SEO, right? From content writers to conversion copywriters to editors, you name it. I built an agency for just SEO. And that's our specialty, right? Because it doesn't take one person with a skill set of development cannot do what an agency of experts can do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely does. I'm curious, what is a client horror story that comes to mind?
Oh, I've had many of those. Ones that actually think they know more than you, just because they're paying money for you, right? Like I have lawyers that think because they're very like dominant, right? Lawyers, they think because of their title or prestige or whatever, and they bill, $1,000 an hour or $500 an hour. They think, well, I'm paying you this amount. I should dictate how my campaign should be running. It doesn't work like that, right? So I would fire them after a couple weeks, really, because I couldn't handle daily interactions with them, right? Because it's like, are you running the agency? If you were, go run your own agency. Why hire me in the first place?
Honestly. Tell me about it. I
That
feel
agency
seen.
life, I've never experienced it. I know you guys, Al, I know you're in the agency side of things, and
Yeah, I feel
I,
seen.
yeah, I just can't see myself. I don't know, the service side of things. I mean, I love being of service, but just like the process, I love building my side of things. I love a product. I love doing it, but the constant turnover and hunting down for clients, it takes a different type of stamina to keep doing that all the time. How do you guys feel about that? Like for both of you? I
Um,
mean,
Whatever
John,
take.
you're seasoned. Al, like, what do you think of it?
well, we at local SEO search, we focus on long-term relationship building. Like our
Mhm.
clients are here with us for years and years and years, right? We sign 1-year contracts. We don't do monthly or one time. So someone that I want to grow with and I want to actually help them long term, that's our ideal customer. Someone that just wants transactional, like there's agencies that will do 3-6 months. Fine. We walk away, right? And it's okay because 3-6 months will not move the needle for majority of the campaigns, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm on the same page as him. Most of my clients are like years. I can maybe count on one hand how many clients I've had that's been months. Because results take time. It's not a surefire game. When you get quick results, you get quick losses as well. You know, like if you look at a lot of those Facebook ads, they're like, the modern day buy this now ad. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
to actually have quality, it takes quality, and that is something that comes over time. So most of the clients that I work with understand that. So yeah, and it's a part of setting the stage as well, right? When you're onboarding a client or vetting a client, and say, hey, do you want results the next 2 days, or are you trying to like have something over the next 2 years? So that's an important, very important thing, for people that are agency owners and in the audience, the hustlers. Set the stage, because that'll come to bite you in the ass. They them calling down your phone asking for results. Hey, where's my results at? It's been a month.
Mhm.
Where's my results at? It's been 2 weeks.
Exactly. Setting
You know?
expectations. And
Oh,
that's why when I tell people like how long will it take to get results, I've seen clients rank in months and I've seen clients rank in years. So there's no answer there.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it allows me to be like, it all depends. But I know you're going to get more organic traffic. You're going to get more of your ideal customers when you're with me.
Hmm.
Do you want that? Are you in? Right?
Yeah. And if anybody's considering working with the agency, one thing I want to say as well is if the agency guarantees you a number of results,
It's a red
they're
flag, eh?
lying to you. They're
Run
lying to you.
away.
Run
Run away.
away. Run. You know what I'm saying? Cut them off. So that's just a big red flag. I just want to throw that out there as well. I want to talk about your sales process as well, because one thing I feel like you have a lot of expertise in, I don't want to let that slip away for the audience, and I'm being mindful of time here as well, is your sales expertise. What are some tips you can give the audience when it comes to sales?
Being honest, man, being transparent, genuine, authentic, be raw, and let people in on different things, right? I story tell a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I ask a lot. I'm very curious as well, right? So as much as you're going into sales call, you better know a little bit about the business, know a little bit about their competitors, and understand a lot about their business. So a lot of the work is pre-done before you actually go into the meeting, right? And then you act like you don't know what's going on. That's the other thing. Like there's a lot of things that you learn from sales from doing it for so many years, right? And then you want to make them feel like they want to really work with you. You personalize. You want to help them throughout this journey because it is a new journey for a lot of these business owners, right? And you want to make sure that they feel comfortable working with you. So it's relationship building more than anything, and versus the end product and results, right? End product and results is already vetted. That's why they're calling you in the first place, to reach out, right? Now they want to know if you're a good fit, right? So that's where you need to really focus on what makes them want to work with you. What are the triggers, right?
How long does it usually take to get a client?
I mean, it all depends, right? Depending on their urgency, their cycle. We get a lot of inbound leads, and it's all about vetting that, right? We have a process in place. We have systems, and as much as we have all these funnels and different techniques, it's all about like getting good clients and wanting to ensure that they have the same values as me, right? Because I don't want to work with pricks or ones that are not who you're about, right? Like your morale or whatever it is, right? Like you want to make sure they're a good fit, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm actually redesigning my submission form, and I'm gonna have a checkbox that says I am not an asshole.
Whatever it is, right?
No,
Like,
I'm joking, man. But yeah. Working towards wrapping up, though, man. Is there anything we didn't cover? That you want to talk about?
I think, I know you're doing a great thing here. The hustle brand, there's a lot of hustlers out there. I was a hustler myself. I still feel like I am, because without that drive, that passion, the hustle in people, you're never going to get ahead, right? So there's so many different ways to learn sales inside out, because that's how you get ahead. You're always selling yourself. You need a relationship, you're selling. You need friends, you're selling. You need business, you need to sell, right? So you got to learn this art of selling.
Most definitely. All right, ladies and gentlemen. And leave you up, bro. Anything else you wanted to ask before you dip out of here?
No, I'm good. That's it.
I said, I mean, to echo back to what, John's saying, sales, if you learn sales, if you know how to charm, if you know how to get people to believe in you and you are persuasive, you can do anything in this world. There's nothing that can stop you if you've got a good, sharp way of interacting with people, connecting with them and solving their problems and infusing them with the belief that you can take care of their problems. You can do anything. So
exactly.
That's my stamp right there.
And one thing I want to add on to that is be a good salesman. And what I mean by that is once you learn sales, it's like learning how to literally like trick people. Almost.
And it's so scary too. Like I can take advantage of this.
Yeah, you can literally take advantage of something. When I learned to market, I realized I could actually scam people online. You can scam people, but be a good person when it comes to sales. Be a good salesman, and not just somebody who's trying to take someone for a ride for your personal gain.
Yeah, don't be sneaky.
Yeah.
Well, and that's where the genuineness and authentic, like your brand, your trust, right? It's like your moral. Make sure that whatever you stand behind, you follow throughout the entire journey of life, right? Because it's gonna bite yourself in the ass, right? When people know that you're a scam artist or you're a fraudster, right? Like, can you sleep at night doing that? Like, I don't know.
I don't know how some people do it, but yeah, just don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Most definitely. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, actually, hold up. Be respectful. I'm so sorry. Where can people find you?
They can check out my website, localseosearch.ca. We're here to help. We're, SEO agency, but we have a lot of business experience, right? So if you have any questions, reach out. We're here to support, help entrepreneurs with their journey, and hopefully we can make an impact.
100%. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the hustle is what you can't control. So control your grind. I control your life. This is Hustle of Everything podcast. Peace.
See you later.